Fitness University, and today we're going to talk about the nutrition fundamental, how to build the perfect nutrition. So what we got here is actually first understanding what energy, calories, protein, fat means to the body. I just listed those. I did not list another important nutrient, which is water, and purposely I not listed carbohydrates, which is the only one that really we don't need in our body, and we could live potentially without. The role of the food is to be metabolized and produce energy, obviously, with different biochemical reactions. And here we're gonna understand and learn how all these nutrients, along with fiber, sodium, and the different type of carbohydrates, will help doing that. So when we talk about energy, we also want to basically understand the chemical idea of energy. And what we got here, it's energy, potential energy, so it's stored energy, and then kinetic energy, the energy that we use to move. With the other three classification, we have thermal energy, so like heat. Then we're gonna have chemical energy, so the energy that comes to the process of digestion, and then we have the electrochemical energy, the energy that it comes from the electrical impulse. All of that, it's directly related and not related as well to the food. So really is up to understanding how it works. And when we talk about energy itself, obviously we come up to this idea about the calories. And what calorie is basically is basically thermal energy. So we're talking about the heat, and specifically the heat that we need, the amount of energy that is produced from the heat when it's measured per gram of water in 1 degree Celsius. Basically, calorie itself, with the calorimeter, this machine that has water in there, burn at open sky the food itself, and the heat produced gives this amount of energy calorie. Now the problem about the calories is that our body don't necessarily, and this I said it 1,000 times, doesn't necessarily burn. It doesn't necessarily burn, and it does mostly metabolize. It's not. Our body is not. It's not a stove. It doesn't burn. It's not necessarily like too much like a chemical lab as well. At times it is, but it's pretty much is a mix of a little bit of both, but more like as it would be a thermostat. So it's a metabolic reaction done on different things. We have metabolic reaction that basically happens and the body get accustomed to the metabolic reaction every 2 or 3 days, at times a week, and then we need to change stuff up. Otherwise, it's going to stay what it is. Again, before we go to directly to the macronutrients, I wanted to take a little bit more time and talking about calories. And again, the calorie itself, that's all it is a calorie. So media and nutrition guru today still talk about the calorie being the end all be all, about knowing how much should you eat. It's really it's really like a simple math calculation that's supposed to give you an idea of what it is that you should eat. But again, you see, when you start counting calories and you look at the label, then you end up looking the label and not really looking what is inside of those calories. So there are good calories, bad calories, empty calories as well. So we really want to understand what is the nutrient split, what is the amount of protein, fats, and carb that should be in a meal, instead of really looking at the amount. So the real idea here is not concentrating on calorie as a math equation. It's more like to have an idea of how much should you eat. In fact, when certain macronutrients are changed and like for example carbohydrates is taken off of the equation, it will not impact your insulin a lot, so it will not make you fat even though you're eating more most times. So I mean, really, calorie it's important, but it's not as important as people want you to believe it is. So again, what is the energy obtained by different calories or different nutrients? As we look on the split here, we have carbohydrates provide 4 calories per gram. Protein provide also 4 calories per grams. Fat, which are believed to make people fat, and again, is due to the fact that provides 9 calories per gram, so basically the double of the other two. This idea has been protracted by the medias for years and years and years, and not even getting like the full concept across. Because really, if it was only for a calorie, it would be something that is right. But again, it's what this macronutrient do to your body once you eat them that is gonna determine whether or not you're gonna get fat, lose fat, or stay fat. And again, fat is the only one, at least part of fat, that is the only one that doesn't really enhance hormones such as insulin or cortisol as impacted directly from the fat. So it's really in reality, fat doesn't really get you fat, nor fat provides cholesterol for your body. Total blood cholesterol is due to now science and research shows that is only really coming 20% from the nutrition, and the rest is basically genetics, as most of the time diabetes is. So reality is that fat are not the bad guy, such as people believe. Alcohol, on the other hand, again, this is probably the worst of them all, because provides 7 calories per gram, but are empty calories you cannot use as energy. Therefore, you might have a rush when you're consuming alcohol, but at the end of the day, it's not really gonna matter, and it's not gonna do good. On top of that, it's really breaking out your muscle and providing an excess of estrogen, which especially for guys, it is what makes you retain water. It makes you have this puffy look that you're not losing weight. It's not really, you're not gaining necessarily weight, because like it's just water retention, but it's not. It does everything that it can do against getting you fit and lean. An example here, I wanted to take out a label, and if you've seen a label, 4 gram carbohydrates, 20 grams of protein, and then you're basically consuming 12 grams of carb times 4, 48 calories, 4 grams of fat times 9, 36 calories, and 20 grams of protein, which is 480. So we're basically consuming 164 calories per serve on that. And again, here it's I see at 4 grams of fat, 12 for this is basically the meal that you want to consume, or the food that you would like to have, because it's moderate carbohydrates, very low on fat, and very high on protein. This is going to have a very low impact on your body as far as insulin production. Is going to give you a very satiating feeling. You're not gonna feel like craving so much, especially if you throw some fiber in there. So you should also learn how to see if there is any fiber in there. Here, again, here is a little bit more specifically what you can find, and it gives you an idea of for the 100 grams and the 50 grams portion, how many calories it is. And you want to always look at the number of protein, the number of carbs, and the number of fiber. So basically, if you have 24 grams of protein, to see how much the impact of insulin is going to be, the blood sugar is going to raise, and thus the insulin also going to raise to take the blood sugar down, making you either fat or store this sugar into glycogen, into muscle, and into liver. However, when the liver stores and the muscle stores are full, then this sugar will twist automatically into fat. So to see the impact of the insulin or to calculate it to have an idea before eating. This way you know what to do and what not to eat. You simply take a label and you want to get the 24 grams of carb, you want to subtract the fiber, which is 13, and you want to subtract the protein, which is 40. So now we're getting a negative number. Anything between 0 to 10, it would be moderate insulin impact. When you get minus, which now we're getting about minus 40, we're getting the negative number, negative something here, and this is going to be amazing as far as not enhancing any blood sugar. It's going to be very minimal, or if it is, it's going to be for a very short amount of time, therefore not enough to make you fat. Sodium is important, again very low in sodium, this one, and again this is not sodium. People say it's bad, people say it makes you retain water. Reality is that obviously science shows that, especially the less science shows that body doesn't really retain water. I mean, there are a few times, in the fat and the muscle that you get more or less hydration, but there is nothing that you retain on water. So salt-wise, you should be taking a body composition test such as bioelectrical impedance, one very advanced, not the one that you simply hold out and it doesn't really give you any indication about salt, to see intra-extracellular state of your cells and see like if you're hydrated on the right places, and then you regulate the salt. Because like if you are very dehydrated, you might need some salt to actually retain water into the cells. And again, there is no part of the body except for the cells that you basically are retaining water or getting rid of water. There is nothing on your body that it's not like a freezer or something that you can stock water into. So when we're talking about salt, it's a very delicate process that is not simple as reading on a label. So I wouldn't go with the highest on salt, but I wouldn't go on lowest of salt. Obviously, if you have high blood pressure, you want to go a little bit lower, or otherwise that's not an important indication. Again, calories, and here we have like an example of a bad calorie, empty calorie, because for some people the Kit Kat, and again, by all means, if that's you, you can do Kit Kat, because for some people this Kit Kat will basically get you in a condition to not snack anymore for the next 3-4 hours before dinner. So if that's you, you're probably one of the people like very high sugar burner, and that will work for you. But for 90% of people, this Kit Kat, which has 107 calorie, 8% of fat, 70% of saturated fat, which are okay. Saturated fat is not as bad as people think. Obviously, it's better saturated fat than trans fat. Then we're gonna talk more about it, but it's very high on this composition here. Is low on salt but high on sugar and fat, and we know that sugar and fat, or starch and fat, is usually the problem of getting people fat. So fat by itself doesn't really get people fat. Sugar by itself not necessarily, does get some kind of impact on insulin, but if you are doing a sport or anything similar, I mean, it's not gonna make it a problem, but the two combined, it's like a bomb to get you stored as fat. And also, again, for 90% of the people here, we're going to have the situation that this kind of bar is not satiating at all, because I don't see any fiber in there. There is no water in there that is gonna make you have this state that you're gonna feel well. Therefore, you are gonna feel kind of eating 107 calorie of this against 107 calorie if you take like a steak. The steak will definitely hold will have a better impact on your insulin and will make you feel like you're less hungry or less craving. The great debate, we talked about it before, calorie just not a calorie. I mean, calorie is a calorie, but it's not just that. We also need to look the composition of food, as we saw before. And really what we want to make sure that your meal has is the 11 out of 20 amino acid, or 22 amino acid that is essential in your body. 9 of them are, which includes BCAA, leucine, isoleucine, and valine, are essential and is not produced by the body. Therefore, we need to supplement it. So finding it food, getting pills to supplement it, or somehow make it available to us. And leucine is shown to be the most effective amino acids for stimulating protein synthesis. So we want to really go to get in this table here. You see that want to see the highest level of leucine as possible, and it comes out that the lean protein like chicken breast, ground beef, lean, even tuna or salmon, wild salmon, is the one highest on protein and also with the highest level of BCAA as possible. You see here, I'm gonna let you guys read these numbers, and it's very important to keep those high here. Here we have a little bit of the metabolic path of the protein. You know, it obviously when you get the protein, it didn't go directly to the scene. If you can get everything that you need essential, it goes to the protein synthesis and you build muscle. If not, you're simply gonna obviously get rid of it as waste. And obviously, as highest in protein we go, we're gonna produce more nitrogen on the sweat and the urine as well. That's why we have sometimes this smell like that you can is directly related to eating more protein. Here are a few recommendations about you being able to you know, use protein or what you want to do. So the average intake, it goes from 0.4 to 0.6 and also 0.9, so almost a gram if you just want to per pound of body weight. So just again, and here 0.4. So the real way that you can do it is either to go by pound, otherwise you can 0.9 usually is by kilograms, so you get your pound, you divide it by 2.2, you get kilograms, and if you are 200 pounds divided by 2.2, you get around 90 kilogram, and you would do 0.9 of that, which basically comes out that you need at least 90 grams of protein a day. So you just need enough protein. You really don't need to, like many people say, to overdo protein. When you want to lose weight, I will go more towards from you know, 1.5 up to a 1.5, a little bit more if you want, when you want to lose weight, because at this point what we're gonna have to do, it's really you know, decrease the carbohydrates and keep the fat in there to keep you satiated, and then increase the protein. So you can increase the protein on that when you want to lose body weight or body fat. And in that case, again, the most satiating of the nutrients are the proteins and the fat. So you want to get the carbohydrates low. When you want to build muscle, it's the opposite. You want to keep the protein moderate. And here, again, you're going to moderate protein, you know, very low on fat and a little bit higher on carbohydrates. So then you basically play around with the percentages there. When you want to be an endurance training, the protein has to be even lower. So now we're getting to the point that you just need enough, 0.5 to 0.65 a gram per body weight. Again, this will be obviously keeping both carbohydrates and fat moderate and carbohydrates highest at this point. Sometimes you really need up to 3 grams per carbohydrates per kilogram of body weight. So if you are 90 kilogram, which is about 200 pounds, you will need 9.3 9.327 270 grams of carbohydrates a day, which is about then you do 270 times 4 calorie, and then you get the calorie from the carbohydrates. And again, you will do the same thing with the protein. If anything is something is not clear up to this calculation, obviously we when we go directly with you and build your perfect nutrition here along with our dietitians, we go ahead and teach you how to calculate those things, because really I really don't like to give out meal plans specifically unless you can follow it, and it's been proved that people cannot follow 90% of people. Unless you're somebody really advanced, you're not going to be able to follow something when there is the measurement, the grams or something. So the way we do it here at Execute, we like to really coach smart, the way that you pretty much can figure out on your own with these numbers here how much you need, and then we give you ideas and indication and guides how to do it. So you would have like very visual guides that shows you how much is, for example, 90 grams of protein. Like to take the palm of your hands, and that's a palm of your hands, usually like the round palm here is about 20 something gram of protein, so you know that you need to eat, for example, 4 or 5 of those to get the thing you need, the intake you need of protein. And again, if you're a person that needs the double of that, you would just basically make 2 pumps of protein per each meal. So they see that's take care of that you're taking care of you not getting stressed, and also give you an indication of how to do things. Fat, known as lipid, similar to protein and carbohydrates, is made up to carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. It's just the ratio that is different. The lipolysis, the breakdown of fat, and involves the hydrolysis of triglyceride and glycerol and into fatty acid. And there is a lot of biochemistry, which I don't necessarily want to get into because as I studied so much in the past, it really comes down that as long and you know, if you're not chemical or you don't work in a lab, it's not going to make a difference in order for you to understand how to get rid of your fat. And what you guys want is know how to get rid of the fat and know what a fat is, not necessarily want to know all the breakdowns and everything. Here you just have the idea that, again, all about the fat I want you to know is that saturated fat is not as bad as people think, and the hydrogenated fat or the trans fat are the worst. So again, it is something you want to take in consideration here. Again, this is the type of fat, the chemical pathways that you can necessarily also read on the thousand video on YouTube, or you can again read on journals, and it's not gonna be so critical for you to know these things, but it's mostly to have an idea of what happened with the pyruvate and the glucose and gluconeogenesis. So basically here is saying that the liver cells, this is glycosis, go times with the pyruvate, and then the gluconeogenesis is the breakdown of muscle. So, and also the fatty acid goes to another pathways. So that's all you need really to know about that. The role of fat is very important. That's why I'm saying like fat doesn't necessarily make you fat, but it's very important for your body because it's a good source of energy. Is also the main component of cell membranes that insulate the body for extreme temperature. So if you live on a hot place, like for example us Miami, that's not the case, but if you live on a very cold place, it's important to elevate the intake of fat here. Can keep us fuller longer. Like I said, it's very satiating. It's probably with protein the most satiating. The fat is the key player of managing inflammation. So you know, we need fat. Fat is also improving the hormonal profile. Cholesterol obviously is a steroid, is a hormone. So we want to get the essential fat. Here again, they're like the different type of fat, and I'm gonna let you read it out. And basically, what beef is: long fatty acid, medium chain fatty acids, coconut oil, butter, and unsaturated fat. We should really include all of it in the diet, in good portions, obviously. Fat requirement here, again, there is essential fat, so I would include at least, when seeking body composition and health, from 15 to 50 % I would say 15 to 30 in daily calorie, 30% as we see, based on whatever you want to, what kind of look you want to have, again, or what kind of sport you do, you play around with that. And again, 50% maybe a little high when you are an endurance person. Maybe you want to go up to I don't know, maybe 20 or 25, but I would play more around with the carbohydrates. Obviously, there are people that think they can do very good on low carbohydrates, high fat diet. And again, if you are in either ketogenic or a high fat diet, yeah, then I would go very high on fat, even more than 50%, and high on protein and very low on carbohydrates. But again, this is a discussion for another video. And that's it, guys. So let me know if you have, like always, anything you want to see. Join my channel in YouTube, like us on Facebook, keep up with us with the good work here. And the way we take consideration here in Execute, the way we work is taking science back in place, and we basically, again, we work on a personalized approach with you. So this is just a way to teach you how to build a perfect diet, but there is a lot more work to do, and along with this video, they will be included on our membership site once we are making it right now. There is the possibility on you contacting us and saying that you want to work with us and lose weight with us, or getting leaner or stronger, whatever you want to do. And from there, we basically teach you everything. So you should see in all this series of videos gonna make you understand a lot of things, and also on top of that, obviously, you're gonna have